Hi, I'm Laura, and welcome to my podcast. Hi, I'm Laura from Laura's Lovely Knitting, and welcome back to my podcast. This is my third podcast, which is crazy to me, but so exciting. Oh my gosh. And today we're just going to follow a very traditional knitting podcast format. So I'm going to talk about my finished objects, my works in progress, and then my knitting acquisitions. So starting off with my works in progress, I actually don't have that many. October's been a really busy month for me because it was the beginning of my quarter and I was getting used to teaching, and then it was midterms, which has been chaos. But I do have a handful of finished objects. So since it is October, I have been working on a couple of socks. I have 2 finished socks, so I guess these are technically half finished objects because I don't have the other ones done yet. This very first one is a Christmas knit. This is a sock for my brother. Every year I knit him socks. He wears the crap out of them and it makes me so happy. So this year I decided to shake it up a little bit. Normally I knit him like ankle length socks, but this year I'm knitting him full length socks. These are knit on 2.5 millimeter needles, fingering weight yarn. The yarn is by Things Created Equal. She is a hand dyer in Alberta, Canada. This was the club yarn from 2020. That was the year of trees, I believe. This yarn was inspired by obviously the color of trees, bark, wood, that kind of thing. I absolutely love it. There's a part of me that kind of wishes I'd saved this yarn for myself, but I know that my brother is going to absolutely love it. The pattern was just something I made up along the way, so I have a 2x2 ribbed cuff and then a slip stitch heel and a wedge toe. Nothing special, just kind of like a really basic sock. I think he's gonna love this. I think he'll wear this a ton, so I can't wait to give it to him. My second sock is a little bit more fun. This is a pattern that I've been working on that I'm hoping to release at some point. I really like some aspects of it and not so much other aspects. So kind of as like the basics, I used US size 1, so 2 millimeter needles. For this one, I absolutely love the yarn. It is a sock set by Sunday Fibre Co, who I absolutely adore. The main color is Stardust and the contrast color is called Mermaid. I don't think this set is available anymore. I bought this back in 2020. But if she ever offers it again, I will keep you updated because I absolutely love this. I really like how the contrast cast on turned out. I really like the little stripes with the pearl bumps, especially like matching on the toe and on the leg. What I don't like is the heel. I normally knit my heels to 2.5 inches because I do heel flap and gusset. I knit this heel flap to 2 inches instead because I was really focused on doing the pearl bumps around the edges and trying to figure out how to do that, and forgot that I normally like to do 2.5 inch heel flaps. So I'm going to make another pair of these socks in a different color and see how the 2.5 inch heel flap looks instead. I have a feeling I'm going to like that a little bit more. Once that pair is done, I will write up the pattern and hopefully release it. If you'd like to test this pattern for me, please follow me on Instagram because the call for testers will be going out there. Otherwise, I really love this sock. I think it's very cute. I'm excited to see how the rest of the pattern turns out. So that's it for my half finished objects. My only other finished object, and I actually have 5 of these, are baby hats. So I am part of a club on my campus called Mad Hatter Knits. We knit hats for babies in NICUs and donate them to hospitals around the city. These hats are really important because preemies can't regulate their body temperature, so we knit hats for them to help keep them warm. So I've knit a whole bunch of these. I actually did this with loom knitting rather than like DPN knitting or like magic loop knitting, and it turns out that loom knitting is really fast. So I knit like 5 or 6 of them recently. It's a ton of fun. It's a nice break from like knitting. Like sometimes my wrists get tired after I've been knitting for a couple of hours, so this is a really fun thing to switch to, really easy. Obviously also for a good cause, which I love. I love being able to knit for little babies, little preemies, because they're so small. Yeah, very satisfying knit. If this is something that you're interested in, a lot of hospitals take donations for baby hats because they're always in need of them. So this is something you can look into if you're interested. I do highly recommend. I really enjoy making them. Yeah, they're a lot of fun. Okay, moving on to works in progress. Now, I have a lot of works in progress. I have like 5 sweaters on the go or something ridiculous like that right now. So I'm going to start off with one that I talked about in my last podcast, and that is my mini mock neck tank by Jessie Made Designs. I absolutely love this project. The last time I showed this, I had about 20 centimeters on the body, and I frogged it. When I tried it on after knitting the body, I realized that I had like 5 centimeters of positive ease, and you're supposed to have negative ease. So I could not originally get gauge making this project, so I decided to knit a 3X when I'm normally a 2X and just hope that the smaller gauge balanced everything out. I think that worked really well for the bust because I have kind of a bigger bust and a smaller waist, but it did not work for the waist. So what I did was I frogged the body all the way back to the underarm join, and instead of casting on 34 stitches, which I believe is what you cast on for the underarms, I cast on 25, so just between a large and an extra large size. And I think this is going to work a lot better. I think this will be a far better fit. But because I had to frog so much work and I was very disappointed in that, I have just put this in its project bag and not touched it since I frogged it. So I will slowly work on this over the course of the next couple months. I live in SoCal, so a tank top is never going to go out of style or out of season. And I'll just work on this slowly until I get back to the point that I was at. Frogging is always really frustrating, so I just needed a little bit of a break from this. In terms of yarn, I used the Bubblegum Skies yarn by Little Wing Fibre Co. I absolutely love it. It's a fingering, I got the fingering weight version. Just incredible. I don't normally wear really bright colors like this, but I love this one. And my needle size is US size 4, so 3.5 millimeters. I'm really excited to be able to wear this. I just need a little bit of a break from it. Okay. My next project is, have I showed this before? I don't know if I've actually showed this before on my podcast. This is my Serein Sweater by Caidree. So I've been working on this for a while. I think I cast this project on in June. I wanted something to work on while I was in the Netherlands because I went to the Netherlands to do a summer school for a couple weeks and I needed something to work on. So I cast this on. I had the yarn for a while. So this yarn is the Misty Mornings yarn in non-superwash DK by the Yarn Addict Co. I absolutely love it. I think it was originally a club yarn, and then she released it as a pre-order in like November, December of last year. So I pre-ordered it. I got it in February or March of this year and then cast it on in June. I did the increases for the yoke, the raglan. I have never done a raglan sweater before, so that was a learning curve for me. It was a slog, like surprisingly a slog. When I finally split for the sleeves, I was like, I am done. Like, I need to put this project on rest for a while. So I did that. I think I split for the sleeves after I got home from the Netherlands because I ended up like going to all the yarn stores in the Netherlands and just making cute socks. So I finally split for the sleeves, I think at the end of August, and then I put it on hold for a month and then finally did some sleeve progress. So this month I have been working on the sleeve. I think I've done about 10 rounds of increases for the sleeve. I still have about half to go, a little over half for the sleeve, but it's going really well. I love how this yarn is turning out. This is my first time knitting in a non-superwash, and it's just so soft. I love the colorway. I have not been alternating skeins, and it is turning out just perfect. there's no pooling. I just have no words for how much I love this. I am so excited to be done this sweater. I am hoping to be done it before I go home. Canada is home for me. So it's already snowing there. It's already freezing. I am so excited. I want to be done this sweater so that I can wear it over Christmas. But yeah, now that I'm working on the sleeve, it's a lot less of a slog. I love the way raglan looks though, so I'll definitely be making it again. And it's not a slog for any reason, like any pattern problem. Like the pattern is beautifully written. The sweater itself is gorgeous. I was just not expecting what the raglan actually was because I'd never done a raglan before. So yeah, this is my Sarin sweater. I'm loving it. I can't wait to wear it. It'll be great. Yeah. Okay, my next project. Oh, I forgot to mention what size I'm making. I'm making a 2X for the Sarin sweater. And because it's non-superwash, I think it's actually going to stretch out a lot. Like it already fits totally fine, but I think it's going to stretch out a lot, which I'm totally fine with because I would love even more positive ease than I have right now. So I think it'll be good. Yeah. My next project was actually kind of a surprise cast on, crazy cast on, energy cast on. I'm making the Abraza Slipover. This is the wildest yarn I think I've ever seen. I have never knit with yarn this chunky before. This is the Wool and the Gang Crazy Sexy yarn in Cameo Rose or Rose Cameo or something. Never knit with yarn this chunky before. This took me like 3 hours in total. Maybe four. I'm obviously not done. I've just split for the sleeves, or sorry, split for the body. There's no sleeves because it's a slipover. I think it's gonna be really cute with a little like ruffly collar underneath or something like that. The one thing that I have changed about this pattern is I wanted a little bit of like waist shaping. So I decreased just a little bit underneath the arms, and then I'm going to increase again just a little bit to get back to the size that it was before. But other than that, I think this is absolutely adorable. I think the slipover is so cute. Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. I am knitting this on size 15 needles, or sorry, 15 millimeter needles. No, 12 millimeter needles. Size 17. Yeah, 12 millimeters, size 17. I think the pattern calls for size 19 needles, but I don't own size 19 needles. And I was able to get gauged with the 17, so that's what I'm doing. My one and only worry, I guess, is that I don't think the yarn is gonna hold up very well. It is 100% merino and it is single ply, so there's a really low twist to it. And it is so soft and fuzzy. So there's a bus stop right out my door, and that would be one of the buses. Yeah, I think this is going to pill really badly. I don't think it's going to hold up well, which is kind of sad because I like this yarn. I like the way it's looking. I think it's really cute, but yeah, I just don't think it's going to hold up very well. So my plan is once the sweater has kind of gone through its life cycle, once it's worn out and the yarn is too pilled or too used to continue wearing, I'm just gonna unravel it and I'll use it for something else. Maybe I'll make it into like stuffing for a stuffed animal or something like that. Or maybe use it as like pillow stuffing. We'll see. That's the lovely thing about making projects, is that once the yarn has reached the end of its life cycle, you can repurpose it for something else. So that's what I'm gonna do for this. I'm very excited, but I love the color. I think it's gonna be adorable for now. Yeah, I hope I can finish this before I go home for Christmas so that I can wear it at home because it's absolutely adorable. Yeah. Okay, what's next? Ah, yes, I have two more. I have been doing a lot of knitting this month, but not consistently on one project, as you can see. So this project I actually cast on before my last podcast and just totally forgot about it. I have been knitting for a very long time. I have been part of the knitting community on social media for a long time. And the one thing I do not own is a Ranunculus. So I have decided to join the Ranunculus club. I am knitting this with Coast to Coast Fibers, who I love, by the way, oh my gosh, in the Book Tropes collection yarn in the color Loyal Companion. I actually originally bought this for something else. I was going to make a shawl, but ended up buying different shawl yarn. And when I decided I was gonna make a Ranunculus and I was shopping my stash, I was like, oh my gosh, this would be absolutely perfect. So this is my Ranunculus so far. I have just finished the raglan increases for the sleeve. I have never done lace before. So this has been quite an interesting project for me. I never thought I would like lace. I always thought that I was going to be the kind of person who did anything but lace, but I have surprisingly really enjoyed it. Now I think I did mess up the lace pattern at some point, so I guess I'll find out when I block this how badly I've messed up the lace pattern, but I am not going to frog this. Yeah, no, this is my first lace attempt, so it's gonna look however it looks, and I'm totally fine with that. I'm not alternating the skeins, so we'll see how it turns out, but I've knit with Coast to Coast Yarn Co before and not alternated the skeins, and it's been totally fine. So I think it'll be good. I will fade the skeins, so instead of alternating, I'll just like fade them together once it comes to start switching to a different skein. But yeah, I'm loving this. I'm really excited. I think this is going to be a great SoCal wear because SoCal is so hot that I obviously can't wear like my Sarin sweater for more than like maybe a day a year, or if I go to the beach. But yeah, I think this will be a great wear for just around my university, around campus, on the weekends, things like that. I'm very excited. Oh, and I am knitting this on size 6 needles, so 4mm, and I am knitting the 2X again. I'm very excited. Yeah, I have been obsessed with yellows since I saw Florence from Handmade by Florence make her yellow sweater, but yellows don't look good on me, like at all. They look terrible on me. So I figured this was like yellow enough, like as close to yellow as I can get and still be kind of like a neutral and look good on me. So I think this is going to be a very successful project and I'm very excited. I have to do the sleeves now, but I have been running a conference for the last couple days and needed really mindless knits. So that's actually why I finished my brother's sock. This is what I finished on Friday of the conference, and then I'm about to show you what I was working on for the Saturday conference. I will get back to this eventually, but I needed some mindless knits for a little while. Okay, and my last work in progress that I wanted to show is the Sophie Shawl that I've been working on, and this is what I worked on during Saturday for the conference that I was talking about. So I talked about this in my last podcast. In the last podcast, I think I'd only had like this much done. This is my second Sophie shawl, and this time I'm actually doing it right, and I have progress markers where I did all of my increases. I did not do this on my last Sophie shawl, and I highly regretted it because my increases were on different sides, so it didn't actually look like a Sophie shawl. It just kind of looked like a weird trapezoid, which I was fine with because it was just a little mindless knit and it's just for me. But this is a gift knit for somebody, so I thought I would do it right. And it's turning out very, very well. I'm absolutely loving it. I really like knitting, what's this stitch called? Why am I drawing a blank on this? Garter stitch. I know a lot of people learn on garter stitch, but I didn't. Also, I don't remember learning to knit, so who knows? Maybe I did, but I don't remember ever doing garter stitch before. So I've been having a lot of fun with this. I like how squishy it is, and I like how stretchy it is. It makes me very happy. So yeah, this is a gift knit. I'm not going to say who it's for because that person watches this podcast, so it won't be too much of a surprise when they get it, but hopefully a little bit of a surprise. I am knitting this on US size 8, so 5mm needles, and I am using the Sandnes Garn Alpaca wool in the color Camel or Caramel? Camel, I think it's Camel. I really love this color. I would love to have something for myself in this, but it does not look good on me. So I am satisfying my love of this color just by knitting it for somebody else. So one thing I have noticed is I feel like this yarn is a tiny, tiny bit smaller than the alpaca wool in Acorn, which is what I knit my Sophie shawl in. So if you have had a similar issue, please let me know in the comments. I'm very curious. Maybe it's just me being a little bit weird. Who knows? But I'm very much enjoying this, and I really hope the person that I'm making this for will love it as well. Yeah. I believe that is it for works in progress. Oh, my other works in progress are just the matching pairs of socks to these guys. And I'm not going to show them to you. Oh, not the baby hat. Although I do have a baby hat. Work in progress. But the other whips are just the matching socks for these two. And I only have like this much done, so I'm not going to show you those. But yeah, I believe that's it for works in progress. So the last thing I wanted to show is my Knitty acquisition. What I decided to do this month for Knitty acquisitions, because I'm on a bit of a tighter budget right now, just the joys of being a grad student, is I wanted to support one of the woolen folk vendors because I heard what happened. I saw a lot of the vlogs, a lot of the stories on Instagram, just like I'm sure most of us have, especially if you're watching this podcast. And I decided that I wanted to support one of the vendors, and I wanted to support a vendor that I hadn't purchased from before. So I came across Camelea? I think it's Sunday Fibre Co from Nashville, Tennessee. I absolutely fell in love with her colorways. They are exactly what I love, the kind of soft, muted colorways. So I went on her website and I found this. This is the color Primrose in the organic merino worsted. I thought it was just the most beautiful thing ever. And I wanted to support her post Woolen Folk. So I ordered 2 skeins. I'm going to make a hat. I think I'm going to make the weekend hat by PetiteKnit out of these. I need a hat for going home. So yeah, this is my Knitty purchase for October. I'm so happy with it. I'll do a little bit of a cutaway so that you can see the beautiful variegation up close. But yeah, I do encourage you, if you can, if it's in your budget, to support the Woolen Folk vendors. I'm sure you've heard what a horrendous time that was, just like I have. So if you can, support the Woolen Folk vendors. Yeah, their yarn is also beautiful. So that's my recommendation. I think that's it that I wanted to chat about today. In terms of Knitty chat, I have seemed to have fallen into a pattern of doing a podcast once a month, which I think has been a good routine so far, especially because I am really busy with grad school. So I think I'm going to try to keep this up, do 1 podcast a month, hopefully a second video a month as well that's maybe not a podcast, but featuring something else. I'm actually about to sit down and film that other video that I have in mind. I'm filming this on Halloween, so you'll probably see it during the first week of November. So hopefully I'll be able to get my next podcast out, pardon me, first week of December. So yeah, thank you so much for following along. Let me know in the comments what you are currently working on. I absolutely love hearing all about the projects that people are working on, because it gives me a lot of inspiration for my own projects. So please let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a lovely rest of your day and happy knitting. I'll see you next time. Bye.